Welcome to Behind the Scenes at ID8 Studios. This is the show that explores the art of producing art. I'm Steve Sue, and this is my buddy
Crystal Backy.
And our guest Conrad Lihilihi, or Lihi Squared. Cool name, man. Cool name. Okay then. So you're a filmmaker, and we just came up with this cool concept just now of doing a show on how do you turn an idea into an awesome movie script.
There's a lot of ways, because I think ideas can come from so many different places, but the process is usually always the same, more or less, and that's you'll get your idea, whether, like for me, for example, I have notebooks upon notebooks of just ideas that could lead to something. Notebooks,
Do you have one of
Google
those?
Docs.
Yeah, I write all the time.
Yeah,
Just
iPhone
notes. Yeah.
It could come from just maybe a line of dialogue that I think is funny or quirky, maybe a theme that I want to delve into later. Maybe I'm walking down the street and I see like a person that looks like a character out of something, where I'm like, then I'll ask myself, what it would be the backstory that I would give this person. Like I saw, for example, I was driving around North Shore one time, and I saw this old Japanese man dressed up like he just came from a job interview, but he was on a moped in the rain with a baseball cap, and it's just like, where is that guy going? Where is that guy coming from? So like things, it really dreams. I have a notebook full of my dreams.
Do you do like pages, like one page per thing, and you add to that page over time, or just kind of a stream of consciousness, like a diary?
A little bit of both. Like if I know something could be added to something that's already existing, I'll add it. Otherwise, it'll just like maybe just be thrown on a notebook sometime, and I could go back and I'll look back at my ideas and what's that called? Decide whether or not I want to explore that more. But even that is a process, and the way I select that is usually if there's an idea that's just nagging, that this idea, it could yield these conversations, or it yields these themes, and these themes are really relatives or hot topics, or not even just to be trendy, but things that I feel that could be important conversation pieces. Because
so you have to like set aside time to go back and make this grow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you draw pictures in there? I bet you draw pictures, Crystal.
I do.
Yeah.
I just
she's a pictures person.
anything.
Well, you're a DP, so you would be a pictures person. Yeah.
I am.
I don't, but I know people who do. But this is all. It's a short answer. Idea to a script is a short answer, but a long answer, because everybody's process is different, and I think that you have to find your process, and it evolves as you do it more. So my process works for me in terms of I have my notebooks and everything, my notes everywhere. I've got my stuff for my sketch comedy. I have the films that I want to do, the shorts. I know the next 20 sketch comedies that I want to do. I know the next 5 shorts that I want to do, and I know the next 5 features that I want to do. So now it's just a matter of where am I in my career to logistically do this. So I have a feature script that I am pitching to production companies, and then I have a feature script that I know I could just guerrilla and shoot myself. But getting the idea to the script, the process is the same in terms of, you have your idea, then you have your outline, and you're kind of reworking your outline with your synopsis and your log line. And once I kind of get that to the right place, then I'll start doing my index cards for my scenes.
You do those manually, or like in a computer writing format?
It depends on what's accessible. The initial writing down is either on my phone. I think it goes from like a phone to an iPad, and then it evolves to the laptop. And then even the organization evolves to a whiteboard in my room. And then once it gets to a place where I have the index card good, my synopsis and my log lines and my themes are pretty clear. I understand where my characters' perspectives are and what they're trying to do. Then I'll just translate my scene cards to the script format.
So when you say index cards, those are your scene cards, right?
Exactly.
And are those actually handwritten on postcards?
They're on.
Do you do that, Crystal?
I do. Do you rearrange them to see what sequence you want to put them in?
I do. Yeah, I do the whole corkboard thing with the index cards, and then that's a good visual representation, so you could actually see and visualize where the scenes are, and then that'll give you a good indicator on whether or not, as you rework it more, like, oh, I don't need these scenes. I could consolidate these scenes. The front half of the film, the first act is too heavy. Don't have that much stuff on act. You could really make those visual adjustments. And once I have my index cards at a comfortable place, then I'll translate that to my script, which is I'll just go down with all of my scene headings and actions and just get to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
With that. And then once I see that, then I'll go back and just chip away at the dialogue, at the specifics within the scene, but at least I'm able to see the scenes right there.
That's interesting that old school process of handwriting scene cards still exists.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's still alive and well.
For sure.
Yeah, because
sure.
you think like some guy's going to write an app for it, but it doesn't really work the same because you can't see the forest through the trees on the computer screen. You can't see enough cards at once. Or I think there's also a thing with this, it's like more emotional just to write with your hand. Is that possibly true? Like instead of clicking on a keyboard?
I mean, I think so, but also I was like, oh, maybe I'm just old.
I still do it. Yeah.
Because I bought the app. I bought an index card app. So I'm just, because I'm like, I want to be able to do this on the road. And then I'm like, I don't want to do this on an app. Like, I like having the physical.
Did you ever try the index card software? Crystal?
No, I didn't know there was a software.
There's a software for everything.
Yeah, right. But
there's an app for
you
everything.
mean like just like for
rather than do index cards by hand.
But it's the whole like, oh, where is that?
Yeah, because you can't
swipe
place
this
it.
way.
Right?
Yeah,
You're gonna take scene 43 and pull it to 20.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't just do it.
Well, because like I mean, even there's an app where it does have the cork board and your scenes, and you could do it exactly like how you would do on a cork board.
Yeah.
But even that I was like, no, I like the actual tangible feeling of it.
Okay. Do you have any tips on like when you have your ideas, like what to do next when you have them on the corkboard?
Do you have your scenes? Like, what do you mean? How far are you? With
like,
ideas
let's
on a
say you
corkboard?
have your scenes. You just take all those scenes and you just put a rough draft on a script.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Once I have all my scenes and I could look at it and I could see the film from beginning to end, even though it's just like, I don't have the specifics of the scene worked out yet, but I know that this needs to go here. This conversation or this moment needs to go right here. Just you could go through your scene cards and you could just see the movie and it makes sense. There's the spine. Once I have that spine, then I just put that spine on the film. That's like your foundation on the script. So I don't know the dialogue yet. I don't know how I'm gonna work the themes into the scenes yet. I don't know the specifics, but I just know this scene, exterior, house, blah, so-and-so meets so-and-so. I know that even if it's just as simple as that, if I understand that and I could see the film to the end.
So how do you know when you have the right idea?
Right,
not
I was
just
gonna say the same.
one,
How
but-
do you like?
yeah.
How do you know when it's complete? Like, what are your like checklists in each scene where you're like, okay, I can move on, or like, what am I missing from the scene?
Well, to me, like every scene should contribute to the theme. So I just go based off of that. If the scene isn't contributing anything to the theme and anything new, if you're just repeating stuff, that I kind of try to be mindful of that. I try to have, I'm reworking in terms of what can we learn something new about these characters, what can we learn new about the environment. Because one thing I think when you're starting off too, you're trying to write everything in the exposition. And so a lot of things are just heavy there. And if you get too heavy in the exposition, then it tends to get to a place of corniness where you're like, I'm trying to put so much information here to where you got your characters
Yeah.
just saying stuff like, I have to go here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
There's nothing worse than you're watching something and you know exactly what that character is going to say before they say it.
Exactly. So it's not necessarily a checklist. It's
I learned this thing on TikTok. There was this video where they said, I think they did it for South Park, where they said each scene was like a but and therefore instead of then, like using then this happens, then this happens. It's like but this happens, therefore this happens.
Oh yeah, and that's just the general rule of conflict and the result. Every scene is like a movie in and of itself.
A story within a story.
Exactly. Sub character A wants this, but this. And if your scene isn't doing that, then what's happening? Every scene, it should, if it starts off at a high, ends at a low, starts off at a low, ends at a high. Those are really basic things. But again, these are rules that could be broken once you understand them.
It just seems like anything has to serve the story. It has to
Exactly.
send the action forward.
Yeah. But my mindset with that starts from inception. Like I'm a very, like, for me, film, the holy trinity of film is acting, story, and what's that called? Sound. So if those three things, like everything else could kind of be budget.
I like how you didn't mention visual.
Yeah, that to me that's an amateur thing.
Because people just only focus on visuals.
That and like it goes back to technology is democratized art. We all could make stuff that looks good. I don't care about stuff that makes look good. Like when I have new film, like I taught.
It's actually a
filmmaking, and
prerequisite to look good.
it has to.
Right.
Like if it doesn't look good at this point in time,
Yeah, you're done.
When your
Nobody's
phone
gonna
is
watch your
shooting,
stuff.
4K.
I guess that's why I feel like it should be a part of it.
No, well,
We're just saying it's part of everything that's commercially viable, probably.
Okay.
You have to have acceptable
Oh,
imagery.
absolutely.
That's the obvious
yeah,
starting
that's
point.
yeah. That's
Okay, so what you've mentioned is like you got to be exceptional at to be at a
Not
standard.
to diss your craft, Crystal.
Not that you were dissing my craft, but
none of that.
I
The plus factor is like, how
Yes,
hard
more.
sound
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
We just
absolutely.
went through that. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so layered. It's so nuanced. There's so much storyline.
Yeah.
And I think that's always been the case in film because everybody will always say it's as much audio as anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's true.
And when acting's not good, it's really not good.
yeah.
It's true.
I'll say it this way.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so embarrassed for everybody, and it's not like
It's not enjoyable for anyone.
Yeah.
But I'll say it this way then. If you had limited budget and limited time, and you could only allocate so many resources to certain things, I would make sure that my actor's on point, my story's on point, and I have a good sound man. Pay for those things. Screw the anamorphic lens that you think you want to have. Screw the red camera that you want to have. Going back to my first short that I made in 2013, $30 with a Canon T3i. And I say that because when NBC flew me to that festival, they only flew the top 12 filmmakers that year. And we screened, it was a weekend of screening, 2 days, and from the jump, I was like, oh my gosh, what the hell am I doing here? The first film was like about a car crash in the jungle of Colombia, and then the second film was a werewolf film in a 5-star hotel in Hong Kong, and I'm like, we're doing the Q&As, and all the directors are like, we did people are asking, what's the budget, and what did you shoot on, and we're going down the line, and they're like, small budget, $60,000. We shot it in Alexa. I'm just like, what? Like they're going down the road, and it gets to me, and I'm like, Canon T3i, $30.
$30 and
But-
2 candy bars.
Exactly, but nobody knew that because it was protein bars.
Protein bars.
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
keep it healthy for the
Natural
actors.
kind. Yeah.
But the point is the acting was on point, the story was on point, and the sound. And I mean, you look at something like Blair Witch.
Yeah.
You look at Paranormal Activity. Like it looks horrible, but one, it suits the story.
Yeah.
The sound is good, the acting is legit. So I think when it's all said and done, those are the three things that, to me, I keep in mind with everything I do. Everything serves story, not ego, not because I want this idea and I think it's cool, not because I want this shot because it looks cool. No, nothing is like to look cool. It'll look nice, it'll look cinematic. Yes, I have those shots in mind, but does it serve the story?
Serve the story.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And with
And-
that, we just learned how to make your idea into a movie. We started with script, but actually, how do you make it into a movie? So, Conrad, brilliant. Thank you for that. Crystal, take it away.
You can. Oh, well, how can they see you? Where can they find you?
Perfect.
There you Instagram, all social medias, at Lihilihi, and website too, my name.com.
Nice.
Lihilihi.com.
And for more of this show, check out id8studios.org. Thanks for joining us.